right. Okie dokie, so we'll be working with therabands today. Let's start with some nice wide foot position and some sighs. Just feel the need to sigh. So into the nose, out to the nose, and let's just take slow shoulder rolls while we're doing that. You can also bend and straighten the knees. Slowly. Big inhale. Exhausted sigh. Exhales. A few more. Nice. And from here, let's go ahead, keeping the feet wide. Let's go ahead and side bend. You're just going to hold out of the pelvis, reach up, and ease over. And center. Other side, reaching up. Inhale. Exhale. Right, let's do that again. Reaching up. Exhale, side bend. Reaching up. Inhale, exhale. Side bend. Good. Then keeping the feet steady here, we're going to hold on to those shoulders, keep the pelvis steady, and just add that mid-spine swivel. So you're just gently going from rotation left to right at your own tempo, waking up the mid-spine. Good. Then we're going to push those palms on the alternating corners across. So you're going to keep swiveling and push that palm out onto the opposite corner. Keep breathing and letting go. Now we're going to push the palms forward and pull the other elbow back. Keep swiveling that mid-spine. You got it. Then we're going to go up overhead, alternating, pushing the palms up. Breathing deep. Letting go. Good. And down. And while we're at the upper back, scoot forward here. Palms up, elbows bent. You're going to swing and press those arms back. A little shoulder blade kiss. Opening the front of the shoulders. You got it. And then roll those back out. All right, coming back to the legs. So your feet are going to be out nice and wide, toes angled out. Let's come down into a nice outward rotated squat. Ease it down and right back up. Inhale and exhale. Those thighs outward rotated. Also, you can do a quick check at any time. Put your hands on your pelvis to make sure your pelvis is level, the bowl is level, and you feel equal right to left leg. It's really easy for the pelvis to shift over and you weight bear more on one side. So just keep checking that that pelvis is going down, staying center, and going down level. Equal right to left. You got it. Then half bend in the knees and baby lunges in your outward rotation, keeping your balance. Grounded toward the outer foot. Good. Then toes straight ahead. Wide parallel. We're going to push the palms out. Knees bend straight ahead. You can take a little tilt forward now, the torso. Kind of stick your tail out a little bit. Keep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Strengthening those legs to carry around our strong core and beautiful tall spine. Got it. Now half bend of those and baby lunges. You can sit in your cheek a little bit more each side. You can still kind of tilt forward a little bit with the torso. Make those glutes work a little bit harder. Knees and toes straight ahead. And let's add a little windmill arm. Just reaching toward the opposite toes. You got it. And then back to center. All the way back into our Pilates position, our little V position. And then we're going to just take a bend of the knees and swing the arms out and up. Swing and out. So they can just swing in front of the body and then out to the side. Swing and out. While you're bending and straightening the knees. Outward rotating from hip to knee in particular, and also staying equal on both legs. Trying not to let one leg cheat. Make them both work. You got it. Now we're going to rise and lower the heels. So you're still in the little Pilates position. Lift and lower, lift and lower. Getting as high as you can on the balls of the feet. Let your arms float up. And then find your balance if you can up there for a moment. And then lower and bend. You got it. All right. Then back to a parallel underneath. And let's again take our centering of the pelvis. You're going to bend both knees, straighten, lift both heels, and lower. Hold on to the pelvis for a little bit so that you can really feel with the hands the pelvic bowl is staying steady, centered, and that both legs are firing equally. The pelvis isn't shifting. So you are just going from bent knees to straight, high heels to lower. Good. Now, lift just one heel. Keep the toes on the floor. And now, just bend and straighten through one leg. For 4, 3, and 4. Switch that out. Lift the other heel and bend. Straighten. 2, 3, 4. We're going back to the first leg. Lift the first heel and 1, 2, 3, 4, and lift the second heel and 1, 2, 3, 4. You got it. All right, now we're going to lift each thigh as high as you can toward the chest. You're going to tap with the opposite hand. So your spine's going to stay tall, little standing core, and waking up the brain by crossing your midline to tap the opposite knee. then we're gonna go into little flick kicks. So you're still gonna lift the thigh and flick the lower leg. Lift, flick, lift, flick. And you're alternating. Having to balance on the one leg for a moment while the other leg kicks in front. Good. And now you're going to kick on the open diagonal to the front. So just a little diagonal. You can keep them low. If your hips start to say, hey, what's up? Just keep them low. Little flip kicks to the open diagonal in front. You got it. Now we're going to twist and kick a little through the waist. Twist, kicking on same diagonals now with the opposite foot. Woo, you got it. All right. Shake all that out. And then we are going to go ahead and take our TheraBand. So we've talked about the fact that yellow is a nice light one, easy for the arms. And the next one would be a red for the arms. And then the next one after that would be a green. When you go into the blues and the purples and the dark colors, you're going to be in a much thicker, heavier, dense band. So what we want to strengthen, but we don't want to restrict or be too strenuous on our joints or ligaments. So I like to start with the yellows for upper body work because we do quite a bit. And you want to keep your full range. So take a shoulder roll, drop the shoulder blades back. So you're in good alignment in your shoulders and your head is stacked. And you can play with how much resistance you want on your band by where you place your hands. So when they're closer together, it'll be a tighter resistance. You move them apart, it's going to loosen a bit. So find a happy spot. You can always readjust at any time. So we're going to pull in our core. We're just going to open up our feet. Drop those shoulder blades and hold the band right in front of the chest. Then you're just going to stretch it right across the chest and then back and front. So as you open the arms, the band stretches and then back to center. And you can maintain a slight, you don't have to let it go completely limp in the middle, just a stretch and then center it, stretch it and center it. So you want those shoulder blades to stay down in the back because they are, the whole muscle system in your upper back are working right now. As you stretch across and back, stretch across and back. You'll feel them blades moving in toward the spine back there. You got it. All right. So now we're going to go up overhead a bit. So same idea, but now we're going to bring the band right in above our face and not behind us, not yet. And you're going to do a similar pull. We're going to stretch it and touch the chest. Just careful with your nose. So you do have to stack your head in good alignment and back overhead. So you're going to touch the chest with the band and then it just comes back over the head. Stretch it and then back overhead. So you're still going from a wide arm to a little V arm or small V arm. Stretching the band and then bringing it back. Stretching the band and bringing it back. So again, blades are still working back there. So keep them down in your back pockets. You got it. And one more here. All right, so now we're going to widen the hand position a bit more, just for a range of motion movement. So as wide as you feel like you need to go, we are going to touch the band to the thighs in front. You're going to slowly lift the arms and the band up overhead and then go as wide as you need to see if you can go behind the body and touch the band to your butt cheeks or back of your legs. So full range of motion here. And you're not really stretching a whole lot. It's really just a supported range of lifting up overhead, all the way back behind you, touch, and then come all the way back around and touch in the front. So just as wide as your hands need to be for your shoulders to clear that range. And if they don't, no big deal. Just do what you can. Do the range that you can. We're not adding resistance. It's just kind of holding the band. Up and over. And up and over. It's a good workout without any pull on the band right now. Get a lot of muscles waking up around those shoulders and arms without even adding resistance. They used to do this one in the old school Pilates, just a towel. So at least we've got longer bands and we can cheat out as wide as we need to. Bigger than a towel. All right, and one more pass. Very good. Let's roll those shoulders again. That's nice. All right, let's see here. I want to do, so I'm going to do one more standing. You're going to take the band now and bring it behind your mid-back, and then kind of wrap it around the bra area there, and then bring your hands in front of your shoulders. So you can play with a different finger position. You can try either between the thumb and the first finger, or you can try between any of the other fingers if you think that might work better for your hands. It does get a little annoying on the hands, so try to change it up a bit. All right, so what we're going to do is just keep the elbows down. You want to still keep your shoulder blades back and down, so don't round your shoulders forward on this one. Stay super upright as you just push your palms straight ahead and back in. Not too high, shoulders down, push out, maybe for the girls, if you will. So just a little low, push out and in. So my band is between my thumb and my first finger, squeezing it as you press the palms straight ahead like you're doing an air push-up. And then elbows back in. Push out and in, push out and in. Belly button in. Let's not forget to breathe. Boom. And boom. You got it. Now, we're going to do the same thing. So the band's going to just kind of roll around your back there. And now we're going to do the same thing, pushing above the head. So you're just going to, you can do palms up, or you can do fists if you need to. I'm just going to push above my head and back down, above my head and back down. So we're adding a little resistance to the upward movement. And you just only do what you feel like you can. And if there's any range that doesn't work for you in your shoulders, you just wait or stretch for a moment and we'll change it up momentarily. And boom. A couple more overhead. And last one there. Good. All right. So now, one more set in this position. I'm going to have you round your arms. So I'm still have my band just for one more between my thumb and my middle finger. And I'm going to, band is still around my bra strap back there. I'm going to round my arms in front of me like a hug a tree, or a ballerina would hold a rounded arm where the fingertips are in front of her sternum, or the girls, or like hug a beach ball. So I'm going to have you get a little bit of resistance out into that rounded arm position, and then you're going to open the arms in a rounded position and touch the fingertips in front of your in front of the girls. So open and touch, open and touch. I'm just adding just a little resistance to the hug a tree position in Pilates. So hugging a tree and then opening the arms and hugging the tree, opening the arms. A few more of those. Keep your shoulder blades down, elbows are lifted. It's a little bit more for the front of the chest here. But keep those blades down. Try not to roll the shoulder joint. Couple more, we can do it. And boom. Yay! All right, roll those shoulders out. I'm gonna have you put your bands next to your mat. And so when we get down there, we will have them again for some more oh so fun stuff. All right, so heading down to the mat now. All right. So let's take a moment and do a straddle stretch while we're here. Just take a little moment. You can move your bands to the side there. All right, so in your straddle stretch, you're just gonna wiggle the legs about, let go some tension. Take some nice inhales and exhales. We're gonna rotate and walk down one leg. Big inhale. Big exhale. You can let the head fall forward here. Let your shoulders relax. Back up and off to the other side. Rotate and walk down. Big sigh. Let it go. Good. Then up and towards center. Down center. Hang out here. Release the neck. Deep breath. And back up. All right, we're gonna slide those legs in and we're gonna take a little jump across and we're gonna give that thigh a hug and give a little stretch to the SI and low waist area for a moment. Good, and then the other side. We'll jump across, hug that thigh in, rotate toward it and breathe. Good. All right, we've already done side bends, so we are gonna go ahead and take, now you can take, you're welcome to continue to use the yellow one if that is a good enough resistance for you. We're gonna still do a little bit more arm work here in this seated position with our legs in front of us. So we're gonna wrap the band now around both feet and sit up as tall as you can. If this is uncomfortable, you can always soften your knees or put something underneath your knees if this is too hard. All right, so sitting up nice and tall, you're gonna keep those shoulder blades down. We're gonna pull the band and bring the elbows right next and past our rib cage. So we would call this on the reformer a low row. And you're just adding whatever resistance feels okay to you. Try not to overdo therabands because they don't look like a lot, especially when you're using the yellow. But a lot is happening. The muscles are having to fire a bit harder at the end of your range. As you pull the resistance, it gets harder at the end range. So they are working. So easy does it. So we're still low rowing, keeping the blades down, opening the chest, bringing them forward, and then pulling gently again, nice and smooth. Now we're getting a little lower in the back muscles, around the lats, still rhomboid, so those blades are still rocking and grooving toward the spine, and then they widen, and then they go in, and then they widen. All right, one more low row. Now we're going to lift the elbows a little higher out to the side. They don't have to be too high. Now we're going to do a little bit like a medium A medium row with the elbows lifted. Now the palms are facing down, grabbing your band, pulling past the body and squeezing, feeling those shoulder blades moving and widening, moving in toward each other and then widening. So I like to stay just elbows just down from my shoulder joint for this one, but it's a good one. Keep breathing. Keep pulling in belly button to spine. All right. So now one more in this series, and for those that have been on the Pilates Reformer, you'll recognize every bit of these from arm work on the Reformer, sitting on the box. All right, so now we're going to cross the bands and retake them, and they're crossed. They're still around your feet, and now the ends are crossed. And now we're going to do a rotator cuff movement that you will recognize from the Reformer. So palms up, stack your spine. You can soften the knees if that helps, but you're going to take your palms up, glue your elbows at your waist, play around with where your hands need to be on your band so you got more range, and then do an outward rotation of the forearm and the shoulder. So palms are up, and you're just going to swing that forearm out and then back to parallel. It's like opening a little gate and then back to center, open a little gate and back to center. So I kind of got a little bit of a fist around the band, trying to stay tall, belly button in. Elbows are glued as I open the forearms and then narrow them, open the forearms and narrow. My palms are up. Getting quite the nice little rotator cuff conditioning here, which we all need. And also just kind of check, make sure both arms are opening their fullest range. If you know you have a bit of a restriction on one side, you can always add a little extra or go slower and try to open that side a little bit more. All right, last one there. Let's drop that band now to the side and take a nice easy stretch. Reach forward toward the feet. Let your head fall forward again and just breathe here. Big inhale. Big exhale. Just let the muscles relax for a moment. And then lift the head and flex the feet back. And then point the feet, let the head fall forward. And then back up to center. Let's take a rotation here. So hand on the outer leg, sit up nice and tall. Other hand behind you. Look around to the back wall. Inhale, swivel to the other side. Stack tall inhale. Exhale, look to the back wall. Good. You got it. All right, so just keep the bands nearby, and we're going to go on to the back. Wake up our core a little bit more here before we do any more band. All right, we're going to take that 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock rock of the pelvis, do a quick check-in. The bands really work the back muscles, so we want to make sure we're okay there. Then take your 3 o'clock and a 6 o'clock rock, pressing each cheek into the mat. And then circle all around your clock. One way, and then reverse. You got it. Then find center on your sacrum. Take a moment and feel the pelvic floor and draw in and up as if you can move your sits bones, but you can't. But feel the muscles around them draw in and pull up. That's a good image for pelvic floor engagement, which which helps unite that deep transversus. We're going to pick up each foot, and we're going to go onto toe touches while we breathe. Relax the arms for a moment. Then flex the heels and touch each heel to the mat. Moving those thighs in and away, one at a time. Good. Grab both knees, give a gentle hug in toward the chest. Stretch that low back some more. Good. Now leaving the knees together, you're going to hold on to the knees, but you're going to keep them together as you circle around the pelvic clock. So the thighs and ankles are touching. Circle around one more time, but now with just no feet. And then reverse. You got it. All right. And now with the feet to the edge of the mat, we're going to go back to rounded bridge. So 6 o'clock tilt or tuck, and then peel up one vertebrae at a time. And then peel down one vertebrae at a time. Exhale. 6 o'clock, peel it up. Take a breath. And peel it back down. Sometimes it might take a few to get it warmed up or stretched out enough to lift. Or sometimes if there's just discomfort, just be gentle and listen to it. Mine doesn't want to go very high today, and so I'm just honoring that. 6 o'clock. Lift to where I feel it can handle it, and then peel it gently back down. It's still a very safe position to just stretch those lumbar muscles. So just listen to your body. Some days are better than others. You can get more range, and that's all right. Some days are less, but you can still nurture it. So a couple more rounded bridging. Letting go of the tension through the breath. Good. Now, I'm going to have you bring your feet into parallel, and we're going to do the same thing. So you're going to 6 o'clock and peel it up. Take a breath, and exhale, peel it back down. So you're just trying to stay as level as you can as you're coming down. Really feel both sides of your back touching and both sides of the pelvis touching. Making sure you're as centered as you can be. Always with the pelvis centered down your mat, your shoulders. All right, and then back to center. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to still keep with my yellow band, but you are welcome to go to your red band because my red band is not with me right now. It's in David's rehab area, and I forgot to grab it. So I'm just going to stick with my yellow band here, and I'm going to wrap it underneath my thighs, and then I'm going to bring my thighs together a bit and tie a knot in the band around my thighs. Okay, can be kind of a loose mat. It'll stretch out here in a minute. And then you can flatten out your band a bit around your legs. They can get a little twirly and want to cut into your skin a bit, so you can always stop and widen them and make sure you've got pants on for these. All right, so here's what we're going to do. With your feet down and your pelvis down in neutral, first thing we're going to do is just press the thighs out into the band and back to center. Out to the band and back to center, just that much. And they might roll around a little bit. You can keep them up around your knees so you can maybe get the best hold there. You also want to kind of just do a little peripheral eyeball on the thighs and make sure that both are opening at the same width. So if one's opening a lot farther, really help mind over body, help the other one open as wide. There we go. So now we'll re-flatten them if you need to. And now with the feet back up underneath you, we're going to do a rounded bridge. So you're going to 6 o'clock. You're going to peel it up. You're going to find your balance up there. Once you're there, in the air, you're going to add some more outward presses into the band with your thighs. Just going to kind of open and come back to center, a little press and back to center, press and back to center. You're going to try to stay in your 6 o'clock. It's really easy, and you don't have to be very high here in your rounded bridge. And then come back to center and peel the spine back into the mat. Woohoo! I know, right? So now we're going to flex up the heels for a moment, and we're going to do some neutral core bridging without the band. You're just going to leave the band here for a moment, but you're still in a parallel, and you're still a little pressed out into the band, just slightly. So just a little press. So if you need to widen your feet just a little bit, so you got just a hold on the band, it's got to stretch. Neutral core. Gather that center, pull those pelvic floor muscles up, and you're going to neutral core bridge up, touch down, exhale up, inhale, touch. Exhale, neutral lift, and down, and up, and down. So you're on your heels. You've got a nice wide stance that has a little bit of stretch on your band for a little lateral conditioning here. Okay. And exhale up, inhale down, and your ribs are going up and coming down, and you're pressing equally through both heels. Boom. And boom. You got it. All right. So now we're going to bring both knees into the chest one at a time. Give another little hug and a side rock and roll while the band is still there. Good. Keep rocking. I'm going to get my music. All right. So now, with the knees in, I'm going to have you bring the band up around the lower leg and re-spread the band back out a bit so it doesn't cut your skin. So about mid-shin and calf. And then from here, we're just going to bend and straighten the legs for a moment. Once you get the band in place, just bend and stretch for a moment. Flex flexing, pointing those feet. Good. Now, legs are going to stay up on the next one. You can move the band and widen it a bit. And you're going to flex those heels. So keep the legs kind of towards you. Don't let them get away from you for this one. And all you're going to do is, same thing we were doing with our thighs, you're just going to press out into the band and in. Press out the legs to the sides and in. So the band stretches and then comes in a bit and stretches wide and comes in a bit. So again, just a little bit more lateral conditioning through the whole outer leg. Legs up, band, widening and coming in, widening. You got it. All right, we're going to move the band back down to the thighs, like right below the knees. Again, widen it and bend those knees. All right, we are going to go on. Take a moment and just circle on your pelvic clock. Just make sure your lumbar is okay. So I want to add one more while we are in this position. And that is coming onto sideline. We're going to add this little resistance to our clamshells. All right, so the band is coming with you, right below the knee. Widen it back out. All right, so the knees are in front of your pelvis. Neutral spine, core in, and onto Big Daddy clamshell, and down, open toward the sky and down. So you're going to run right into your band for a little extra resistance at the top of that movement. Keep the pelvis nice and steady. You can hold on to the side of the pelvis if you need to. It's starting to rock. So this is really going to do a nice extra conditioning for your hip rotators, all your glutes, all kinds of good supportive lateral muscles here. You got it. All right, you probably feel that, so give your hip a little loving and encouragement. It's all good, it's all good, it's all good. And we're just going to push up, and we're going to swivel right around to the other side with our band in place and find that on the other side. So we don't want to overdo it, but I just want to introduce this option to you for extra hip conditioning. All right, so now neutral pelvis, core in again, hand to the floor, knees in front of the hips. Widen out that top band, just below the knee, and then Big Daddy clamshell on this side. Hold that pelvis steady with your top hand if you need support there. All right, and give this hip some loving and encouragement. Very nice. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. It's slightly different. I'm going to have you come back to your backs. I'm going to have you slip off that tied band and just put it to the side. I'm not going to have you untie it right now. And then I'm going to have you take another band that you might have nearby, matter which color because we're just going to use this one as a stretchy thing. So we're going to take one foot and we're going to put the band around the 1 foot, and then we're going to lift it up to the sky. We're going to just hold on to almost the very ends of this band, because you're literally just going to use it like horsey reins for a moment, no tension and no resistance. We're going to guide the leg, kind of like a yoga strap for a moment. We're going to circle the leg, the other knee is bent for now, your elbows are down by your sides, you're just going to circle the leg going one way. So you're just kind of, your forearms are moving, around with the band, but you're not pulling on it, because we don't want to pull on it. Then reverse the circle. So this is a series I like to do to help stretch the hamstrings and loosen up around the hip joint. So about a medium-sized circle or so going the other way. All right, now we're going to come back. We're going to bend the knee into the chest. This is still the same leg. We're going to keep that knee into the chest, and then we're going to send the leg back up to the ceiling. Now we're going to flex the foot, and you might want to, you can add a little bit by putting the band around the ball of the foot. You can get a little extra stretch there if you just draw the band a little. So now I'm going to have you point the foot into the band and then flex the foot. Point the toes into the middle of the band and flex. So if it is around the ball of the foot, that's the best spot for right now. So you're flexing and pointing, flexing, extra stretch, and pointing. You got it. Now we're going to bend the knee into the chest again, and the elbows are still on the floor, and your forearms and hands are just doing, a lot of the guiding. Inhale, as you exhale, send the leg back up, and now you're going to widen those elbows to the side and let the hamstring stretch. It's the back of your thigh. You want to make sure your sacrum is still on the mat. And then I'm going to have you slide the other leg to the floor and hold there for a very intense hamstring stretch while you breathe and become one with it, trying to straighten the back of the knee as best you can. Good. And then undo that side, send that leg to the floor, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Now we're going to bring both feet back up underneath us. We're going to switch to the other foot. So place the band around the ball of the foot, kind of the arch a little bit for the circle part. All right, so now we're back to the hands at the end of the band, just a little horsey rein, and you're back to the leg circle going one way. Gliding, easy, no resistance here, just a glide. Easy guiding of the leg with the band. Then reverse that circle. And you're breathing, letting go. Good. All right, now back to center. With the band a little bit more around the ball of the foot and the toes, you're just going to flex the foot and hold that stretch for a minute. So that's going to open up your calves, which we need them to release tension so we can get into our hamstrings. This is why I add this one in the series. Now you're going to point the toes into the band and then flex the foot. Point and then flex, add a little extra stretch there. Point and flex, point and flex, point and flex, point and flex. Hold that stretch. All right, now we get to bend the knee into the chest. Inhale, elbows are still down. Exhale, the leg goes up. Feel that hamstring stretch for a moment. Gonna do that again. Inhale, bend the knee into the chest. Exhale, the leg goes up. Now we're going to widen the elbows to the side. Hold that stretch of the leg in the air and slide the other leg to the floor. Breathe and be one with this hamstring stretch. Good. Then release that leg to the floor, band off to the side, and just wiggle those legs. Shoo. Wiggle, wiggle. All right. We'll bring the feet up underneath us one more time, only to widen them to the side, open the arms, and double knee fold to one side. And let them melt. You can also take your arms into kind of a bowl post here. And breathe and melt. Let go of all the muscle tension in your glutes, and your legs. And you can feel those outer hip muscles that we got working. Yeah, you'll feel those right now. And then up and over gently to the other side and remelt. Big sigh. Let it all go. Nice. And back to center, feet back onto the mat. And again, just take a little rock side to side of the pelvis just to make sure everything's okie dokie. And then we will roll to one side and ease our torso up. Make sure you feel okay. And then gently back onto all fours. Take a nice little C curve or a cat cow here for a moment. Lengthen out, head to tail. And go again. Good. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get you up. And so let's tuck our toes. We'll do a standing stretch instead. So back to your squat. If the heels tend to hang out here for a nice lengthening stretch for the calves again, that's cool. And then bottoms up, hang upside down. Do a nice nod of the head and breath. And out. Soften the knees and slowly round and stack. All right, and shake that out. We will come to standing here for a moment and finish. So there's a lot more I can do with the bands, but maybe a next go around. But what I'd like to do is take you to a little standing lunge. So you can be on your mat or off your mat, just to kind of get our hip flexors since we didn't on the floor. So just a little standing lunge. So 1 foot ahead, 1 foot back, and just take a small bend of the front knee. And this is another just gentle way to get to your hip flexors if you can't on the floor. And then straighten, and then you can switch the feet out, or just swivel to the other side. And you can hang on to something if you need, but stand, bend, and then the other foot back. You're getting a calf stretch and a hip flexor opening of that back leg. Just keep your balance, keep your eyes steady. Shake all that out and let's reach up and finish our lovely band class. Circle some wrists. They got a little workout today. Full body on. Twirl to the other side. And a big exhale. We're adding and flick. You can also flick the hands and arms, flick the legs. Woo! Swing. Shoo! Just shake it all about. Then inhale and receive so much love and joy and peace and harmony, right? Staying grounded and aware during this time of year. Let go of the distractions and the worries and the fears. And then inhale to receive all that goodness. Take good care of yourselves. Let the rest go. Give yourself a hug and a pat on the back, which is also a nice way to stretch what we just worked with those therabands right through those rhomboids. It widens, and so it's a double goodness to hug and pat yourself on the back, right? You don't have anybody else to hug us. We can hug ourselves and love up our bodies, which we're doing by coming to class and supporting each other. So thanks for being here, everybody. Much love.